Hi you guys, this is Jamie from Whatever's Clever Boutique, and today I have a super fun, just all-girl tumbler for you. So I started with a spray painted tumbler, and I didn't love the color. It was a lot more coral than it was pink that I was going for. I just didn't have a neon pink. So I took my then Papa Color paint, neon pink, and kind of painted in a swirl motion. We're going for kind of like a Milky Way effect with this tumbler. And I just took that paint and just kind of kept going until I liked the way the swirl effect looked. I have a glitter that kind of has that coral look to it, so I left some coral in there. After that's dry, I go in with the second coat, and then I let that coat dry. And I totally forgot to mention, I am using the new 32-ounce travel mug from the Steel Magnolia. And as you saw at the very beginning there, I did remove the bottom on this tumbler as well. Now on to the glitters. So the first color I'm going to use is High Drama from Peachy Olive Glitters. It is so pretty. And now I'm moving into my dump bucket glitters. If you saw my last tutorial, you know that over the new year, I basically went through all of my glitters, and anything that I had that I hadn't even opened, if I've had it for more than a year, 2 years, I took them all and just sorted them by color and created a massive dump bucket. I don't know why I was so surprised, but the colors that came out were absolutely stunning. So I actually have a few of them listed on my website right now, and a few of them I'm using today. So I will link that down in the description box. So I'm gonna apply my glitter today with the epoxy method, and I applied it a little bit thicker than I normally would for a glitter application, just because I want there to be just a little bit more for my glitters to adhere to, because I'm really gonna layer them on. So I'm gonna start with kind of this magenta dump bucket mix that I created, and I'm just kind of laying the groundwork for our glitter here. So I'm definitely not going full coverage. I'm just kind of figuring out what the swirl is that I want to create. So now I'm going to take the chunky hot pink glitter and kind of just lay that down. And now I'm going to take that High Drama from Peachy Olive Glitters and kind of lay that over the coral section. I knew that's where I wanted that glitter to go. Now I'm going to go in with the bright pink. It's kind of like a fine mini chunky cut, if that makes sense. So there's no big true chunky glitters in there, but it's just kind of all different sizes of neon pinks up to like the mini chunky size. So I'm going to just kind of lay that now in between all of those other colors that I already laid down on the tumbler. And I totally apologize, my camera was clearly really struggling to focus on the neon pink on this tumbler, so it's almost like washed out a little bit. You'll see it better when I go to the epoxy step. But now I went in with that white dump bucket mix that I had made, and this kind of gets swallowed up. So this step really isn't necessary. You don't see it in the end. The pinks just kind of totally overtake it. So that's just how that went. Sometimes that happens. So now I'm going to go back through with all of those glitters, and I'm just really going to kind of lay it on to try and blend all of these colors together to get kind of like a seamless Milky Way type look. take some parchment paper because we have quite a bit of chunky glitter on this tumbler. We're gonna just kind of go through and pat that down. It's not quite as easy to pat down on tumblers like this because you can't just simply roll it up and rub your hands across like you can with skinnies. So I just kind of take my time here and pat down as much as I can so that the epoxy step is a lot easier. Now for the epoxy, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. I start by focusing just on the handle area. And if you want to not have to take as much time, like I have to here, I would definitely spray seal this or seal it with glitter glue. I just wanted to move on faster. I didn't want to wait for anything to dry. So I focused on that handle area. I changed gloves and then went into just the brighter areas and epoxied just those sections. I'm avoiding the dark altogether, just so I don't pull any of that dark glitter over into the neon portions of it. So once I finish getting the epoxy all over the bright area, I then go back through and do that kind of more magenta area. And don't forget to hit your tumbler with a torch to pop any of those bubbles. After that coat of epoxy cures, we're going to go in with our second coat. In this coat, I'm going to take Catfish from Mr. Nola's Glitter, Withering Wisteria from Simply Sarah's, Succulent Succubas, I still don't know how to say that, Mica from Woody's Goodies, and Ray from Simply Sarah's Customs. I'm also going to take my white epoxy dye from Illumilite. Now, I put those each into little medicine cups, and after I go in with my kind of thinner coat of epoxy here, we don't want a ton of epoxy so that when we add these micas and the epoxy dye on here, it's not going to travel a whole bunch. So I just do a thin coat of epoxy on my tumbler. Take that leftover epoxy and just kind of distribute it into those medicine cups with the micas, glitter, and epoxy dye. And I'm going to get those all stirred up. I'm going to hit my tumbler with a torch just to pop any of those bubbles before I lay down the other colored epoxies. And there was really no rhyme or reason to this. I just applied the micas and glitter and dye in the swirl motion that the glitter is on the tumbler, if that makes sense. Once I get the micas and the dye laid, I'm going to take a gloved finger and I'm going to go through, I'm starting with the white first, and I'm going to pull those sections with my gloved finger so that they're not like stark lines. and then I switched my glove finger, you can't really see that off camera, move to the next color and do that with all 3 colors. Once I get those to my liking, I take that Mr. Nola's glitter, it was called Catfish, and I'm gonna take another glove finger and I'm just gonna pull through some of that glitter in miscellaneous sections. This is replacing that white glitter that didn't show up when I laid it on the tumbler, can't talk today, initially. So that's just kind of replacing that. That's why I added that in there, but I really like the dimension that it gave the tumbler. And then I just go over with my torch lightly to pop any of those bubbles that we may have created. But I absolutely love how this turned out. This isn't a style that's necessarily my strong suit. Milky Ways have never really been something I'm super comfortable with, but I keep trying because I want to keep getting better at them. And so I really, really love how this one was turning out. And I'm far too obsessed with leopard print, so I decided I was gonna put the decal that I had planned on one side, and then in the same swirl motion, I'm gonna put leopard print on the other side. And here I am trying to save time by using some leopard print that I already had cut out on this Tech Wrap Craft holographic vinyl. I have it offset because I knew that I wanted to put some of the offsets down, but then I also wanted to put some of the solid leopard print down, if that makes sense. Well, it ended up taking far too long because then I had to pull the offsets up, as you can see here, lay them back down on the sheet, and then pick up the leopard print. So don't be me. Take your vinyl, cut out the leopard print, and then take another sheet of vinyl. I know it's double the product, but trust me, this took me so long. Create the offset and then cut or slice with your Silhouette Studio, and then that will leave you with just your offset portion to cut out for the second sheet of vinyl. So there at the beginning, I'm showing you how long this truly took me. I then speed it up here so it goes much faster. But that was my thought process, and then I was committed, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep going, and I did. It turned out great, but man, it took me so long. So yes, use 2 sheets of vinyl, cut each separately so it's easy to just pick up and lay on the tumbler. I got this SVG from the Made by Manny and Mal digital collective. She has some amazing SVGs. I'll have her listed in the description box below with a coupon code for you. But I'm kind of speed weeding here, sped it up so you don't have to watch me through the entire process, super slow. But this decal says the future is female. I absolutely love it. I took that same holographic Tech Wrap Craft vinyl, and then I took this neon pink vinyl, I believe it was from the Vinyl Cottage, I'll link it down below, to lay on the top of that holographic. I made the rookie mistake of attempting to lay the entire thing down. It did not work. So luckily I was able to lift most of it up and then cut it apart so that I could lay the words individually. please do that. It's so much easier. I get all excited and think I could do it all at once, and well, here we are. I did set my cup in my cup cradle from Cami Page Boutique just so that it doesn't move on me. And I removed that backing off of our offset decal and line it up in the center, lay that down and start peeling back that backing. And at this point, I am so excited. I absolutely love how it turned out. I did do a glitter bottom on this tumbler. I've shown you guys many times, so I skipped that step, so this tutorial is not super long, but I'll link some in below so you can see those tutorials. But I used Guy Diamond from Peachy Olive Glitters, and then that finer chunky cut that I created as a dump bucket as my glitters. And then I took my little glitter tag from Mizzy Doodles, and I had my glitter bottom. On my next coat of epoxy, I took a little bit of Echo from Chase Ray Creations and put that into my epoxy to kind of give a little bit of shimmer effect. And then I went in with one more coat and our tumbler was done. I absolutely love how this tumbler turned out. You can kind of see that shimmer there in the Future is Female from that Echo from Chase Ray Glitters, which I do have a discount code in the description box. But this tumbler is giving me all the girl vibes. I absolutely love, love, love how it turned out. That holographic vinyl is absolutely stunning and works perfectly with this neon glitter. The glitters are available on my website. I will have them linked in the description box below. They are super cheap. I just wanted to share them with you guys because I had so much glitter. So feel free to go take a look at those. I also have tumblers available for sale on my website. I have a new makers support group on Facebook if that's something you're interested in. It's kind of a group where us makers can come together. I'll share discount codes. We can bounce ideas off of one another. But thank you guys so much for coming and watching. I appreciate each and every one of you.